Beautiful human. In this video today, I want to talk about how you can discover your most bulletproof niche. And to do this, I'll talk about three different ways to think about niching, right? The first two I'm going to mention are pretty common. The third one is a little bit nuanced, and it's what I did to grow to 50,000 LinkedIn followers, 6K email subscribers, and what I'm doing to grow this channel and build my audience to basically create leverage versus us being trapped in whatever it is we're doing that's not that, right? So leverage is what you want to be free, at least in my world, right? To live more and to earn more. So I'll unpack this thing to try to help you on this journey. And I hope you can draw what worked for me and hopefully find something in this experience in there that actually works for you too. So I'm going to dive into this and speak to basically skill-based niching, right? There's a lot of people who niche by skill, and simply put that way, you box yourself and you say, for example, I am a copywriter, or I am a video producer, I am perhaps an accountant, or a finance advisor, a CMO, a whatever that may be. And there's no right or wrong here. And I've seen a lot of people on YouTube, on LinkedIn, like everywhere, all around, make an absolute killing out of skill-based niching. And in fact, that's the most common one of all that I've seen. Now, I come from a web development background and I ran an agency and so on and so forth. And what I found over that time was when I did skill-based niching and I was talking about, let's say, web development or business consulting over and over and over again, things got a little bit boring. And if you're somebody who has like multiple interests per se, talking about that one thing in 1,000 different ways, like they say, could get a little bit monotonous over time. However, there are channels that have made an absolute killing basically doing the niche by skill. So I want to hold that thought for a little bit because I'm going to bring that back in a moment while we differentiate. So the second one that comes to mind is basically you are the niche, which I'm pretty sure you have heard. I've seen this round come over and over and over again by somebody that popularized it called Dan Koe. So if you're in the creator space, you must have seen or heard of Dan Koe. What I've seen with sort of you becoming that intersection of your interests. So I drew some doodles here. This is a basketball, right? Let's say you like basketball, you like philosophy, maybe you like copywriting, you also like jazz music, and you like talking about the universe. Just to put it in perspective, Dan Koe sort of said, when you're at the intersection of your interests, you become the niche. Therefore, people then are drawn to you as the person at this intersection. Now, what I found over time just studying this, and I vibed with this for a very long time and even tested this out by myself, is you literally have to either have some sort of like, let's say, vibrant personality. So you might be somebody like Joe Rogan, for example, would work really well in the you are the niche type of niching because he is magnetic and he hones in on that personality. Now, if you're somebody who's just getting started and you're really trying to grow an audience or, build out that leverage, it's harder to actually come and find that intersection of your interests and hone in simply because that takes a more generalist approach, right? So that's something just to keep in mind as we're going through these examples. So the third way is philosophy-driven niching. So for me, philosophy-driven niching is by far my favorite thing in the world because when I realized what this was and how this operated, it actually set me free. So when I ran the agency for years, my calendar was stacked and I was doing calls and this and that. And, recently I've had a daughter. So my life and my world has changed in a way that I designed it, right? Now, I live by the word leverage. That's why I mentioned over here that we have philosophy-based niching, right? When you've got a philosophy-based niche, you basically have a vision, you have a mission. So in my world, that mission is to help people create more leverage in their life and their business, right? So that to me almost acts like my why, right? Or my lens, however you want to put the word. And by doing that, I am able to wake up, find that purpose, the reason that sort of gets me to wake up every morning. The reason I do what I do is to help other people experience leverage, to be in ease and in flow. And then comes basically the skill that you need to sharpen your axe to do. So what I did over the time is I said, if my philosophy is the word leverage, and I'm trying to get as many people through this door as humanly possible to experience that, well, in order to do that, I have to hone in on a skill. Notice that we're bringing in the skill-based niche over here. So what do I mean by that? I created a little model that goes by lifestyle design, right? Like you can make one offer, one post, and one email per day in order to build leverage to set yourself free, and so on and so forth. Now, why am I doing these highlights? Because I had to learn the skill of offer creation. I also had to learn the skill of post creation on LinkedIn, my desired platform. I also had to learn the skill of writing email. But above and beyond that, this is why I love the sort of you are the niche and all of that, which will make sense in a second, is I also had to learn personal brand, how to build and leverage an audience. And then my other interest is personally energetics, right? Understanding truly who you are as an individual, because only then, at least in my own belief, can you set yourself the vision and find a business model that aligns with you, right? So for me to build leverage, I had to hone in on those skills that I found to be the most interesting and actually double down on those. So that's what I mean by philosophy-based niching. Now, I sort of break this down here into this order. So for me, philosophy is pretty much your big why, right? The reason why you do this, right? The reason why you show up and you follow that vision, right? This is supposed to be a little fire emoji, but I am horrible at doodling today. And paired with that is your essence. Like, essence is how you show up. It's your vibe. It's your energy. It's when you walk into a room and people go, I'm not quite sure, but I really like this guy or gal, right? So essence and philosophy come hand in hand, right? And what I should be doing is starting from the bottom and then going, well, then you need content to showcase your authenticity and your essence and your message, right? And in order to produce content, well, you need a skill, which is content creation, right? To be able to write posts online and so on and so forth. And once you hone that skill, you're able to showcase to the world what your philosophy is, right? Which in my case, to bring that back, is doing everything I humanly can to help people obtain leverage, right? So in the way that I look at this, it's pretty much going, okay, the engine of this whole thing is the skill, because through offer creation, through copywriting, through content, through brand, and all those skills that I'm sort of stacking together, I'm able to basically oil that engine day in, day out in order to fulfill my philosophy, which is giving people more leverage. So the equation for me is pretty simple, right? Because when I look at it wholeheartedly, I'm going philosophy plus skills together basically give you the outcome of your philosophy, right? So when we write that down a little bit more broken down, I can say my philosophy, which is the philosophy of the model plus copy plus all these things over here equal leverage. And leverage equals all of that together, right? So I hope that makes sense. And that's how I was able to put this thing together for us today, because just to recap, I'm a very, very big believer that you can niche either way. But what I'm doing to grow this channel and to grow other channels and other social media networks that I'm going to be dabbling into is philosophy-based niching. Because just like, in religion or sports teams or whatever, when there is a philosophy that people believe in, then that is so much bigger in terms of impact, because that allows the audience, that allows the crowd, the tribe to form, because you have this greater philosophy that you all believe in, right? So that's what I will be doing, and I hope that this video sort of showed you the ins and outs of where you could take this in your own journey. And if you have any questions, you can shoot them down below. I've also got Modern Maker, my community that follows that philosophy with the one offer, one post, one email. I'll also drop that in the description in case you want to join us. And I hope you hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.